Like, I am so unprepared for this meeting. It's insane, but I'm just gonna wing it, which I think is good for us anyway, because I think we should have been winging it from the beginning.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's the whole concept, right? I work better when I wing it most of the time anyway. When I try to stick to a script and an outline, I'm like, I end up going off of it.
Exactly. But yeah, it's been crazy. When I told you I had no electricity, I had no electricity until the day I left. It was literally like for a whole week. And I left for the airport at like 6:30 in the morning. I was packing in the dark.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was really upset.
Yeah, no kidding.
So yeah, that's why I didn't go to the SME. I was like, I couldn't even move all of my meetings. That was like the worst part. I was like, I tried to move as much of it as possible, but like some of them were just so important that I couldn't. So it's been crazy.
Yeah, no joke. Little international travel. And how long is the flight from Mexico to, where'd you fly into? San Antonio?
San Antonio, yeah, and then I drove, well, my dad picked me up, and then we drove back up to Dallas. So the flight was about 2.5 hours, which was not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, and then I met Melissa, which we need to send you guys pictures. But I met Melissa, and then I did the speaking thing for her, and then my dad came up, and then we drove back to Dallas for like almost 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a long drive. I once did, because I used to live in Temple, so I once drove up to Dallas and then drove down to San Antonio and then back up to Temple all in the same day. That was a long day.
Yeah. I know you know, because you're partly Texan.
Yeah, like a pseudo Texan for a minute.
Yeah. Pseudo Texan, yeah. I'm gonna try this background because I have just no idea what this background looks like. But I'm gonna rearrange it so that the next time we meet, it looks a little bit better, and then I don't have the fake background. But there's only like one space at my parents' house that I can like take calls, so I'm like trying to make it work.
No, I get that. Yeah, this is like, I mean, this isn't the best I get, but this is the best I get in the quietest space I have to work with. I could be out like in front of a window facing Santa Fe Avenue, which is a really kind of cool looking backdrop, but it's so loud right on the street. And I'm like, there's no way that's gonna work.
Yeah, I had the same problem in Mexico. I don't know if you've ever been, but they like shout this thing, like the botones, like it's the same one. It's literally like years and years and years. It's like it's the same. It has not changed. I think it's just a Mexico City staple.
Just like loudspeakers, they just broadcast something every day.
It's the same thing every day though. But I could tell you exactly what it is. It sounds embarrassing, so that's why I don't want to do it. But it's literally the same thing.
It's kind of like Costa Rica. There's these people, I don't know if they're paid advertisers or what, but they just drive around with the loudspeakers on top of their car, blasting whatever message it was. And it was always, there was a supermarket called what is it, the BM Supermercado, and they would just blast the commercials for the supermarket over and over and over, and it didn't matter where you were, you would hear this broadcast just come on and start blasting every time they drive by real slow, and they do it like almost every day. So it's a little different, but almost the same thing.
Yeah, same in Medellin. I don't know if you've been to Colombia, but Medellin also has the same thing. But theirs is like food. Like the one in Mexico is like lavadoras and like appliances. The one in Medellin is more like food, so like aguacate and like it's like, yeah, I guess like every country has their own trademark.
Yeah, I just remember the one from Costa Rica was just all about, I mean, translated, it was all about saving your colones, because that's what they use down there for their money is colones. So it's like, save your colones in Spanish, though. And I don't even remember how to say it, but I just remember that was what it was. And so they said their little jingle while they were talking. Yeah, it's still stuck in my head. I mean, talking about good marketing, because we remember it apparently.
Yeah, but we never bought from it.
Yeah,
so,
right.
I don't know how good they are at sales, but definitely good marketing.
Good marketing, yeah. It sticks. It just didn't convert.
Exactly. I want to give you a rough idea of like what I'm planning to do. Just because like I'm telling you that power outage really took me out. Like I felt like I didn't do anything. Like, I felt like I just did the bare minimum, tried to survive it, and I'm just like, I just couldn't wait to leave. So I'm a little bit behind, and I also obviously like took calls during Thanksgiving week, which I said I wasn't going to. But my plan, because I'm also going to include the meetings that we've had before. So I plan to just like run all of that through Opus. And really, once you run everything through Opus, it looks good. I'm trying to get my editor to edit inside of Opus, at least for
Mhm.
basic editing. Because when you give it to her, she adds a lot of like fancy things to it. But I'm just kind of trying to get her to like just have it make sense kind of thing, and then
Yeah,
we can start with that.
super
Uh,
basic.
yeah, yeah, a little bit basic, at least to start with. Like I
Sure. Oh yeah.
usually like, sorry.
No, I agree. I think basic is good because we're trying to figure out what resonates, what hits, what the response factor is for people, and I don't want to put a ton of time into like super edits and presentation, um, since we're just kind of just raw dogging this thing and trying to create topics of conversation that'll pique interest, or at least we think they're interesting, and we're trying to find the people that they resonate with.
Exactly. So my plan is to take all of the things we've done so far. Like I said, just having different clothes works. Like this is a different background for me at this point, just because I moved as well, so that also helps a lot. Um, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take those clips. You're gonna see our back end. I'm gonna put it in a content calendar for you. Unless you want to pick your own clips, then you can kind of do it yourself. But if you want a system, then we can do that for you.
Cool.
But what I do with our strategists is I usually will pick out like what's gonna go on the thing. Like if it's for our brand, like for our other clients, they just do whatever they kind of do. Like they're in charge of it.
Mhm.
But for our brand, the way that I structure it is I put together like, okay, like this is what I want it to look like. This is like I want to control because it's my brand. I want to control like what goes out, what doesn't, what are the topics. That's why I said if you care about what goes out, then you can tell me. But if you trust me, then I can just lay it out for you because I'm seeing all of the videos,
Mhm.
and I'm picking all of the videos, and then it's gonna go into this content calendar. With basically like it's gonna be set up so it's planned out, so nothing comes out until it's planned. Where you have enough content. I'm also gonna ask you for assets if you can actually send me that.
Yeah.
Um, so basically, assets is just mostly if we're hyper targeting LinkedIn, just pictures of you. Could be pictures of your travels, could be pictures. I mean, if you look at my LinkedIn, it's just pictures of me and my travels. Those work really, really well. Your profile picture, kind of things like that. If
Mhm.
you can put that on a Google Drive and share it with our team,
Cool.
yeah, if you can do that for me. And then basically, I'm we're not just going to produce videos, it's going to have an actual structure to it. So it's going to have those when it's just pictures, and then I can kind of direct you a little bit on like what would be like a good place for it, but you're going to be writing. I'm not going to be writing for you because that's your voice, that's your tone, that's your everything. So whatever you want to say about it, you're going to be writing, and then from there you're just going to have the structure, and then you're going to schedule as well.
I like it. No, that's awesome. That's really cool. I would love to see kind of how, because I was curious actually what your kind of process was and kind of the inner workings on the back end. And I didn't want to ask you so directly, like I'm trying to tap your client list, but I was like, I'm so curious about this niche that you're in and what you're doing and how you deliver that to people and you know what they're contracting you for. So I was actually super curious about that just from an example point of view. Um, yeah. That's the short end without diving too deep into that. That's a whole other rabbit trail.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that later. I mean, I'm very, very open with a lot of things, so I have no problem like telling you like this or that. Just some clients we have like NDA, so we can't tell you what those
Yeah,
clients
yeah,
are, but
yeah.
yeah, like as I'm sure you know, I'm sure you have those clients as well. But I'm definitely very open to just be like, yeah, like this is like what we do. Almost all of our clients have the same back end. We have a social media planner and a social media approval template.
Mhm.
Basically one is it requires approval from the client, so it looks a little bit different. And then the other one's a planner because they don't require any approval. So these are the clients that we have that like don't look at it. I would say it's about half and half. Half have an approval template, half have just a planner.
Mhm.
Because our clients really love to be hands off.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the sweet spot, right? People want to be in their business. They don't want to have to work on their business. And so if they've got you working on their business for them, then set it and forget it is kind of the ideal ideal target for that right there.
Yeah, and they're my ideal target clients. So today, actually, like we said, we're gonna do it more casual, which I'm actually excited to see what this is gonna look like because I didn't 100% love what we did last time. Like when you clip it, like I think it on a long form, it looks good because it looks like a
Mhm.
podcast. But when you clip it, I don't think like it's picking up the things I wanted to pick up. It definitely looks more like you're just giving advice and then I'm just giving advice. I would like to have some clips where it's more synergistic.
Mhm.
So I'm actually really excited for this one just to see like the different types of formats that we can do as well. And I think what we decided on was just we would just ask each other questions of things we were curious about.
Yeah.
So let me know if you want to start. I know like I said, I'm winging it, but I know I had a couple of things that I had for you as well. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I would love to. So we can just dive into that because I'm actually so curious because the broad scope of social media, right? Everybody talks about, just grow big on social media, grow your following, grow your marketing, become a social media expert, so to speak, capture the market, become an influencer. Like you hear all of these things swirling around, but companies who are really successful, they get there, right? Eventually, you can tell. But did they start there? How did it work? Is it a chicken and the egg? Like these are all like general questions I have for you in social media because I think the average business owner is just trying to figure out how to be effective.
Mm.
And I work with them a lot on their business itself in trying to create a space and design things that are effective for them. But then when they get to trying to plug that into the outward of the marketing of it all and the connection in the social media space, what does that look like? And let me know if you want me to get more specific on that question.
A little bit more specific would be good because I
Yeah.
could probably go on many, many different ways.
Um, what I think it'd be a question if so, it's small business just starting out, they don't have a ton of brand recognition, they don't have a ton of name recognition, they have an idea of who they're going after, but they're not sure how to approach it. What is your methodology to getting them started in social media? What advice would you give somebody like that?
You said they didn't know who they're targeting. That was one of
No,
your.
they do know who they're targeting.
Okay. Sorry,
Yeah,
what was the thing that you said? They don't know. Sorry, I lost it.
I think I'm destroying this section of the video. Maybe we should start with you.
I just rephrase it because I think also like I have had back-to-back calls, so it's like I'm also like, am I like hearing him? If you can like just give me the thing, I'm gonna listen.
Yeah. So I think like I'm kind of speaking to kind of a broad stereotype out there where people say something, you get all of this, I'm just going to call it like internet noise advice. So it's like grow your following on social media or just create viral posts like it's a switch that you need to flip that you're just not deciding to do, right? And so they're like, oh, just market on social media. I was actually just having this conversation with a client last week and they were trying to figure out how to target their social media based on their brand voice and tone and all of the things that I work with them on because it's like, okay, well, you have to be clear on what you're trying to say to people because how you get it out there is one half of the coin, but what you're trying to get out there is the other half. And so if you don't know who you are and who you're speaking to, right? And so that's the back end. But what are some, how am I trying to say this? What are some techniques that you would say to counter that noise that's out there just in those general terms, like, oh, just go viral, like it's a choice. Oh, just speak to your target audience. Oh, just, like everybody breaks it down like it's super simple, but it's really, social media is a lot more tactic than that. It's a lot more strategic. And I think most people don't realize. What would you say to something like that, just in general?
Okay. I have what I want to say, but I don't know if it answers your question.
Just go for it. It probably will.
Let's see. So basically so we serve almost like across like industries, right? Like we serve a lot of people across different industries, and we do have people in products. We do have people in a bigger space to where they are targeting a broader audience. And then we have the clients that we serve that target a very specific niche clientele base.
Mhm.
Those are the people I love working with because the thing is, your question can be answered in many, many different ways, depending on who your clients are and who they're targeting and what they're getting out of it, right? My answer for you is going to be based on that client, their specific industry type client. And the reason that I say that is because they are the easiest to work with. So the way that you set that up is you really want to make sure that, I know hashtags don't work anymore, but when we first started, they still were working. So that's a huge part of it. But now it's very SEO based. Like the algorithm can really pick up who it is that you're targeting. And so you really want to make sure, so whenever our strategists do our captions, we actually say who we're targeting in those captions, or a very specific thing that is important to them, a very specific wording that only they would search for, right? And that's much easier than saying, okay, like I want a pair of shoes, because everybody wants a pair of shoes. Whereas if you are, let me see if I can find an example. So we have a client where, I mean, I've told you about the other client already, but we have another client and their business are doctors who are studying to be doctors. Like they're not doctors yet, but they need to take these exams to become doctors. And the way that it works is they have these acronyms that only these doctors will search for. So we make sure that those, we actually still use the hashtags for them because it's such a specific industry. It actually does work. But it's also that we use it on everything that we do, like in our reels, in our carousels, in our captions, and we hyper target them, like to be able to say, okay, like this is what you're looking for, and we have the answers. It's almost like, think of it like Google, right? Like or ChatGPT. It's like they find the answers for you, and marketing and social media honestly is no different. It's just trying to find the right way to find them. And there are many, many different ways in social media that you can do that. Whereas like SEO is very straightforward. It's a straight line. It's like if you do blogs, if you do the keywords, if you probably do ads, it probably helps. Also with SEO, I'm not really sure. I'm not an SEO expert, but you know, it's all of those things. But with social media, you can be found through influencer marketing. You can be found through SEO, like LinkedIn ties back to Google SEO quite a lot. You can do blogs inside of like LinkedIn articles. You can use hashtags before. Now you can do SEO based on caption writing. There's so many ways to be found in social media, and you just have to know how to do it. But you need that target audience in the beginning.
So what's cool about that is it kind of reminds me of what I work with people on the back end too. So what I hear you saying is continuity is everything. Understanding what you're saying, who you're talking to, and then making sure that message and that positioning is carried through everything you do, right? In one way or another. It doesn't have to be the same post over and over and over, just hammering down. Because I see a lot of people do that. They're like, hey, we're this company. We're trying to talk to these people. Buy our services. And it's like crickets. It's like, well, nobody wants that, right? You're just selling so hard. But what I help people focus on, and it sounds like what you execute on, is that continuity in the understanding of who you're talking to, why it's going to resonate, and making sure you weave that into all of your content. You can have a variety of content, but just like hashtags not working, which I didn't know hashtags didn't work anymore. Obviously, I'm not super current on social media anyway, but I didn't know hashtags were like obsolete at this point for the most part. But I think that's actually really cool that the algorithm is set up to actually search for what you're trying to say and who you're trying to say it to and connect the dots for you. And you're right, that is like early Google, right? Where like pre-Google creating the whole I'm feeling lucky button, right? You had to be pretty sure of how to get yourself in the right ballpark to pull the right results from your web search back when Google was in those primitive stages of what it was doing. And so I think it's actually really cool that based on what you're saying, that the algorithm has almost gotten so intuitive that it's back to trying to filter out the noise and just channel in the specific results for what you're saying and who might be aligning with what you're saying. And I think people miss that fundamentally in their businesses because they're like, oh, you know, we do this. for our specialty, or this is our product, or whatever it is, this is our offer, and they just speak to that and speak to that and speak to that. Well, unless you know how to position yourself in speaking about the problems you solve, or the ways you make people's life better, or the happy feelings you elicit from people through your products or services, then there is no continuity in anything you're saying. It's still all just, we have this product, buy it. And it's like, that's not going to get you anywhere. Or we do this service, we're the best. Again, it's so fragmented. So having a holistic picture and approach, I think, is really cool. If that's what you're saying, which I think is what you're saying, is making sure that it all conveys in a clear, concise message and position.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's exactly what I'm saying, because especially like, so before you had ways to like get found, and even now it's just different from what it was before, but it's the same thing. How can you get found? By the person that you're talking to. And right now you'll hear a lot of like people like Gary Vayner say like that we're in an attention-based economy.
Mhm.
And that's really true. And what he means by that is it also goes with social media. It means that whatever it is that you post about, that one post can be sent to the right audience. Before you needed the followers, you needed the hashtags, you needed like this specific set of things that you needed to do to get to where you're going.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like that one post, because of just how the algorithms have evolved, and with the upcoming, takeover of AI, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, with the upcoming revolution of AI kind of thing, it's like they have gotten so much smarter, and the algorithm now is able to direct that one piece of content to the right audience. Now, it also is still very, very highly dependent on which social media platforms. Each social media platform is very different from each other. And I will tell you this, the best algorithm is TikTok, and the worst, I really believe, is X. So, or Pinterest.
Okay.
So if you were to kind of rank them, TikTok definitely, and it pains me to say that because I hate TikTok. And that's it.
There's a story there.
Yeah. I mean, they're just so, if I can be really honest, they're so shady. And just in their practice and everything. I think that's changed a lot since the beginning. But they just allowed so much content before that I just didn't agree with. Yeah, nobody really loves TikTok, to be honest, except for people who are selling products because of TikTok Shop.
Yeah.
E-com people love TikTok. It's also probably why I don't work with e-com people, because then they heavily use TikTok and they heavily use influencers. But they do have the best algorithm out of all of the algorithms.
Yeah, TikTok is interesting with the whole For You page of it all. They were kind of the first to do that, right? Insta did it a little bit, but not really. It was just kind of suggested. But the For You page, how it was like, oh, you're interested in this, or you watched that a few seconds longer, or you did this, or you did that, or just even your scroll timing and patterns. And like they got really tech about it and ended up being able to deliver a pretty targeted output into the For You page that nobody else was doing. And I think that's why part of the reason why TikTok created so much controversy right out of the gate, because it was like, what is this? This isn't, normally I have to go search for what I want, or I have to go looking, or Facebook search bar, which I don't even know if that's a thing anymore with people doing stuff like that. But Instagram, it's like, oh, I'm gonna look at this. But Instagram was still very, very visual, right? Everything was all about presentation, and the phrase, do you still hear doing it for the gram? Does anybody
Yeah,
use that
yeah.
anymore? Got to do it for
Yeah.
the gram. Now, whenever
Now I
I'm
remember those days, Instagrammable.
Instagrammable, right? Whenever I'm out like at a national park or whatever, and I see somebody doing something really dumb, like hanging over the edge of something, and I'm like the cliff of somewhere, and I'm like, the things like people doing it for the gram, I guess.
Yeah, is it Instagrammable? Yeah, that's so crazy how, oh my gosh, I feel so old saying both of those words.
Right? So gotta
Yeah,
do
I'm
it for the
sorry.
gram. Insta worthy. Do it for the gram.
Yeah. But no, the For You page actually is the reason why we're in the interest-based economy. I'm not sure if people know that or not, but it was because of TikTok. It pioneered everything that social media is doing right now, as to why like they did get rid of hashtags, and why like you are able to be served more and more of the content that people are addicted to, which is really bad for you in that sense. But that is also why I really only take on clients that make a difference in this world, because yeah, social media can be really interesting on the user end.
No, for real. Yeah, it's a tool. Because people are like, oh, it's so bad. It's like, yeah, it can be. It's like, oh, this is so good. It can be. But yeah, we've gone to an attention economy. Absolutely. It used to be 7 seconds. You had 7 seconds to get somebody's attention and make an impression that stuck with whatever you were doing. It wasn't just on social media. But because
Sorry.
of social media, no, you're good. But because of social media and specifically TikTok, it's like 3.5, it's probably even less now, but it's 3.5
It's less.
seconds.
It's less. It's so much less now. Like people
Yeah.
say 3. I think that's just a number that they say, but I think 1.5 seconds, to be really honest. I mean, look at how fast you're scrolling, just in your own habits.
Oh yeah, no, I'm even thinking about myself. I'm not even on social media that much, but whenever I am, I'm just like, yeah, that and the smartphone, right? You used to be you had to sit on your computer like the MySpace days and scroll through stuff and listen to whatever the profile song somebody put on there and whatever goofy thing that they tried to catch everybody's attention and make them think they were so unique, right? And you spent some time on a MySpace page, which was really actually sad to admit now.
I was gonna say, I think we're dating ourselves because
Real bad, real bad.
like
This conversation just went, I don't even know where.
I'm like, I don't know how old you are, but man, I feel old right now.
Yeah, apparently I'm just old.
Yeah, me too. It's like, when did that happen?
Yeah, now I'm realizing this. I'm like, people don't even know what MySpace was. Like, there are so many people that were not even born when by the time MySpace died.
Yes. I'm so glad that my clients are definitely was in the MySpace era at least. So I think they will get the reference.
I should just stop talking now. I'm killing this video.
No, let's go with yours. I do have a question for you. It may be a little bit how do you what do you I feel like I miss my words sometimes. I'm also butchering this video. It's okay. It might be good. I really want to experiment and see what it's like when it isn't super polished versus when it's super polished. I think this is great. It's very different from what we did last time, which is fantastic. I love it.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
I'm losing my words. Oh, unconventional. So it's a little bit unconventional, my question for you. But I do have a question for you that I don't even know if you have the answer to, but because you are like this person's like this is your expertise, and for some reason I don't know why, but I kind of like dug myself into this rabbit hole um of trying to do it, but I was like, I should not be doing this. This is not my wheelhouse. So, and actually I
I've
was
done that a
gonna,
lot with projects. I'm like,
huh?
yeah, I said I've done that a lot with projects where I give people the yes. I'm like, yeah, I can totally do this with full confidence. I'm not trying to defraud them at all. And then I'm like, I am not best suited for this. I've got to find somebody else to handle this.
Yes. Well, it's free. And actually I was gonna offer you the same thing, but I was gonna tell you, I was gonna have you tell me what you wanted written on there. So, anyways, let me give you the backstory. So, for my 3-minute educational story on SEN, educational moment, not story, educational moment on SEN, I have one coming up in December, and I want to do LinkedIn banners specifically. Like,
Mhm.
I want to fix yours. I offered to fix Steven's, and I was also gonna offer to fix Michael's because he was the easiest because he already had the wording. I just had to fix the banner, which is
Okay.
what we're good at. Like, you tell me what you want on there, and we will design it for you. Like, that's what we're good at. But we're not good at telling you what should be on your banner. Like, it's not my
Oh,
job.
yeah.
You should know what that is. Well, Michael's is already there, so I haven't pitched it to him yet. I might not. Let's see. But because the wording's there, it's easy. I can just take the wording, go to his website, tell my designer, here's exactly what's gonna go on there, and just go with his branding, right? Like,
Mhm.
that's easy. That's the easiest part for us. That's why I was like, initially I was just gonna do Michael. And then we started doing this, and I said, okay, I want to do Brady's because obviously, like, we're working together, we're setting you up. I don't want you to post and then your banner looks what it looks like right now. And you're like, oh, Clarisse did it. And I'm like, no, no, no. Like, you're not gonna tell people Clarisse and then it looks like a mess. We're fixing it.
When let's just pause there for a second. When your LinkedIn is so bad that a social media marketing agency doesn't want to be associated with the work they're doing on your page. That's how that translates. Just
That
just so just so we're all clear.
you're
I'll
like, I
help
didn't even,
you out, but I don't want you to tell anybody I helped you out because your stuff's still so bad, they're gonna think I did it. And that'll be the worst thing for my business.
Actually, I didn't even think of it that way. But yeah, like once we start posting, I want to make sure your profile also looks good. That way, when you're like, oh, she did it or they did
Yeah.
it, they're not like, why is your profile like this, but your post looks like this? No, like we're gonna fix everything. So we're gonna run you through everything. Um, but since you're the brand expert, I was like, okay, like you just tell us what you want on there. Like you tell us what the words that will go on there. Like you will tell us, like, you have your website and everything. We can take it from there. Like there's assets, right? So
Yeah.
we can work with that. Well, I don't know why, but I just opened my mouth and then with Steven it came out. I was like, oh yeah, let's do it. Well, Steven doesn't have a website. He doesn't
Okay.
have any landing page. He doesn't have a booking call page. I only know him from really SEN and the 2 times that we've met. And basically, I was like, "Oh yeah, let's help redo your banner." Well, I'm like, "Well, I know nothing about him. He has no branding of any kind, and just like,
Yeah.
I think this is not our wheelhouse. It's like I'm trying to figure out like what words should go on here, and I'm just like, I have zero idea. I have zero idea of his colors, of his anything. I don't really know what my question is. Maybe you can restate my question after I say it. So obviously, we bit off more than we can chew, but I was already deep down the rabbit hole like when he started talking, and I was just like, yeah, it's okay, we got you, we'll do it. But without any branding, without any website, with only a 1 hour phone call to understand what it is that he does, which we both know is probably not enough.
No.
Nowhere near.
No.
I guess like my question is, what would you do in my position? But also, you'd probably never put yourself in my position. But I guess like, what would be your message for people as well that has this idea that it's like, oh, like I'm gonna do my social media and I'm gonna do all of these things, because he was very excited about it. But then I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, like we don't have anything to go off of. Like
Yeah.
this is not. So I don't know if I have a question, but if you can make a comment or just answer what I asked, I'm not sure.
No, I do. I do. I totally get what you're saying. And this is a huge blind spot. So what you're articulating is actually one of the core things that I work with business owners on. And it's cool because it's really intangible. And it's twofold for me because I know exactly what you're saying. But the awareness that people don't possess into what they don't have as far as collateral and understanding and identity and any sort of brand identity or brand promise or mission or culture, they don't possess any of those things. They skip ahead 5 steps and they're like, now I want to do marketing and have revenue. And it's like revenue is a byproduct of all of the things that you don't have, right? Your marketing can work flawlessly and you're still not going to be able to deliver. And your marketing won't work flawlessly, not because the agency you hired, like in your case, not because you guys aren't top shelf and understand exactly what you're doing. You can only work with the tools that you're given, right? You can only make something as good as it is. And if they don't have anything for you to build on, then you don't have a way to execute their marketing. And so then they're going to be like, well, Clarisse, like you said, you could do this. And like, my company's not going anywhere. And you're probably wanting to yell back to them. It's like, yeah, that's because when you hired me, I thought you had a company, but you don't know who you are, who you're trying to reach, what you're doing, what your message is, what your mission is, what your brand is, right? You don't have a website because you don't even know what you're trying to say to people, right? I run into this a lot, and I've started digging into this even harder because I love working in these areas. It's really intangible. It gets really messy, but it's kind of what the way my mind works. It's like, let's figure out who you are first. If we can figure out who you are, then we can figure out what it is you do. If we can figure out what you do, then we can clarify why you do it. If we can understand why you do it, and then we can educate people on how you do it. And once you get the how you do it part connected, that's where your marketing can actually connect. If we can build your brand on the what, why, and how part first, then we can connect your marketing to it in whatever capacity, social media or otherwise, right? Building a website. But if you don't know what you're trying to say to people, hiring the best web designer in the world isn't going to fix your problem. They're going to come up with awesome graphics and awesome things, and your copy is going to be laid out the best, and it's going to say lorem ipsum and everything else because there is nothing to put in there, right? They're like, hey, these are all the template placeholders. Now what do you want to put in there? And you come back to the business owner and they're like, I don't know. That's what I hired you for. And you're like, I can't read your mind, right? I can't read your mind and I can't make up your company for you. Um, I actually am working with a business owner right now who's trying to launch a few different initiatives. And he's like, I need to have X amount of clients by the end of Q1. I'm going to have it this. It's these, 4 different tiers. They can go this route, this route, this route, and this route. And I'm like, okay, so you got a lot of structure. All right. He's even got like site flows and everything else. And I was like, well, who are you and why do they want to hire you? Well, to make their business run better. I'm like, that doesn't tell me anything. And so I had to actually tell him to pump the brakes. And it was kind of an abrupt conversation there for a minute. It was really touch and go because I was trying to bring light to that reality that it's not that simple, right? He's like, I hired a company to launch my website. I'm like, I was asking the same questions. Who's writing the copy for that website? Well, they are. Do they know what you do? Well, yeah, I filled out a questionnaire. And I was like, and then lo and behold, he got the web copy back from that company. And nothing against that company. They're good at what they do too. But to your exact point, output is only as good as input.
Yeah.
And so I said, do you like this web copy? And he's like, I hate it. I hate all of it. They missed the mark completely. I said, okay, so you remember when I said we need to slow down and figure out your identity first?
Yeah.
And get to know you and why people want to get to know you. And then if they want to get to know you, why they want to engage with you. And then what engaging looks like. I think you and I had talked about this. You don't walk up to somebody and be like, let's go on vacation together. It's like, I don't know you. Like, we haven't even had a conversation, right? It's, let's have a conversation. Let's see if we even have any mutual and common interests. If I even find you remotely interesting. If I do, maybe we should go get a cup of coffee. Maybe after coffee goes well, we go get, we decide there's more to escalate the conversation and have lunch, dinner, whatever the relationship shapes into and looks like. But you're not just going to meet some random stranger and be like, hey, you want to go skiing in Aspen? Let's go on a vacation together. Like, it's not going to happen, right? But for some reason in business, we think that we can jump to the end and be like, let's just move to strike. I want clients to buy my service. It's like, they don't even know who you are. Well, what are you talking about? I want I need to build a sales funnel. Sales funnels are only built on content and understanding of, again, there's lack of awareness, really aware, ready to solve their problem, and they purchase from you, right? Like, it funnels for a reason. And I kind of hate the sales funnel analogy, but it's true in terms of understanding. The levels of understanding are narrowed down until you execute. Why we're skipping over this is a question that I'm helping. Well, it's a question I don't have an answer to yet, but I'm running into it like almost on a daily basis. It's on a weekly basis as I talk to companies, because they go, well, we have this problem. Our sales aren't converting, or our back ends, our processes aren't, we're not able, like, the client onboarding isn't going very well and they're not happy with our services. I'm like, it's because your operations doesn't understand who the heck you are and why you're doing what you do. And so it actually permeates through the entire company. But in your position, it's almost impossible to achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve without knowing those things. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I do completely understand what you're trying to get at. How do you handle that? If I was to phrase the question that way.
That's what I was going to ask you next. I was like, so what's the plan here?
So the plan is they got to get clear on their strategy. They got to get clear. And so you and I had kind of talked about like the handoff, how you work on the after and I work on the before. And I think that's why like what we do works so well together, is because I'm helping them sort that out. Like, I was talking to somebody and they're like, I don't help people understand what they want to be when they grow up. I don't help them understand what kind of company they want to form. I help them, put better systems and processes in place. And I was like, that's cool. I like that. Like, it's just a very targeted fractional piece. He's like, I don't do that. And I said, that's interesting. I said, because I end up helping people understand what they want to be when they grow up, even though they've been in business for 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, whatever it is. They skipped that developmental step of who am I and what am I actually doing? Mm-hmm. So it's a matter of systematically developing that.
Okay, we don't have time for that. So
that could be an entire conversation of itself.
I was gonna say, like, I think for me it's just more, let me know if you think this plan works. So I have my strategist working on it, which is taking way longer than I thought it was going to take, just because of the fact that the languaging, and we don't have the assets and we don't have the actual colors, and we just have nothing to go off of really, like what he likes. So we have nothing like design visually, like visual design wise. or really anything for that matter, to go off of.
Yeah, I'm hearing like blank slate. It's just crickets. There's a void here.
Pretty much. I love our SEN team, but oh my gosh, like when I took this on, I was just like, which is great. I love the challenge. But hear my plan out and then let me know if you think it's a good plan, or at least a decent
Beautiful.
plan that will get me through it, because I
Yeah,
just really need to produce something and I don't have time to be like, hey, talk to Brady so you can figure out who you are,
totally.
and then, like, so I can figure out who you are, and then like I don't have time. Like I just need to produce
No,
the content.
there's a whole methodology to it, and it's not quick, but we can condense it for sure.
Exactly. So here's my plan. It's nowhere near what your plan is going to be like. I just need to, like I said, it's free. So it's just to produce something that he's going to at least like. I'm not going for love at this point. I just need him to like it.
You're self-tolerable, like at best. Got it.
Yeah, because I'm so lost. I've never taken on a client like this, like a client like this.
Mhm.
I just really didn't know what I was getting into until I got into it. And I was just like, oh, we're doing it this way. I was like, oh, this is so not my wheelhouse. But okay, like let's just do it. So my
You fell
plan,
down the rabbit hole into my world.
yeah,
What is that? What is that quote from Alice in Wonderland? We're all a little bit strange. We're all mad here.
we're all out here. Yeah.
That's where that's the ecosystem in the world that I seem to live in, and with the people in that messy middle stage. We're all a
Yeah,
little bit mad here.
he could be a good potential client. He knows who he is. This is the thing. He just doesn't have, and he doesn't want it. This is the thing. It's like for him, most of his sales comes from word of mouth because
Mhm.
he is very good at what he does, and he's been doing it for, gosh, more as well as almost as old as I am. So
And
it's
since
like
MySpace was still a thing.
exactly. So I understand where he's coming from, but I just, to fix LinkedIn to be almost like a landing page, like what I talked about last time, which is just like I think this is the smoothest funnel I've ever been in. It was crazy. Were you there when I talked about the funnel for
Mhm.
LinkedIn?
Oh, was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it's like the headline and then their
Yeah,
banner.
yeah, because Oliver's LinkedIn managed to capture all of his wife's business as well, even though they're not associated whatsoever.
Exactly. I mean, they have the
Yeah.
same last name, but but it was just so insane to me that I was just like, yeah, like let me help fix a few people's SEN banners, just as a holiday gift as well, because it's between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and let's do something for the people there. So I wanted to do it. Um, he does have these three things. So it's in his banner. There's like three vests, and it's improving people, improving, gosh, I forgot. I think culture, and then profits or something like that. I think the second one I'm wrong, but it's
Mhm.
improving people, improving something else, and improving profits. And then basically he talked about like what he does, which is really not sales.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
it's basically like improving all of those things, which then leads to sales. So actually his thing is improving like company cultures and everything, and
Mhm.
then that leads to improving sales.
Oh,
But
I
he's
100% agree.
exactly. But he says sales because um, it's easier to market,
Yeah.
right? It's harder to market improving company culture because nobody cares. I
Mhm.
mean, they care more about money, especially in the
Yeah.
US and UK.
Yep.
They care a little bit more about money, so he advertises as improving sales. So that's also where I got caught off guard, because it's like, okay, like you're
Mhm.
not what you say you are. So it's like, what goes in here? But he does have the improving the three things, which is
Mhm.
what I want to lean on because that is his tagline, and he does have his logo, which is amazing. So we at least have that. It's not like a zero scratch. So I was thinking, because right now his banner is just super simple. It's just the three best. It doesn't even have the improving people performance system. Because it's
Improving people performance and sales. People performance and profits.
profits, yeah, because three
Yeah.
piece.
The three
Yeah,
P's. Yeah.
yeah. 'Cause I was like, I know it's not culture. I know it's not something else. Performance. And so I was thinking, okay, at least putting that on the banner, because I said I didn't understand what you were trying to do here. Also
Mhm.
squishing his banner so that it's not on top of his profile, because right now the first vest is covered by his profile, which is never a good thing whenever you have something that you want people to see. So those are already two really good improvements. Maybe just adding a call to action, but I wanted to just honestly keep it simpler,
Mhm.
because I think if we add more to it, it may not resonate with him. Like I think the simpler we go with it, the more he'll be like, okay, like this is me, it just looks better.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong? Am I right?
No, you're right. You're right to keep it clean and simple, because these things that he's working on are very intangible in nature when you start, right? Profits, people think profits are a thing. Not to completely reinvent, but he's like, he and I have a lot of overlap in our technique and perspective based on what you're telling me. I love it because I find very few people out there that say this. Profits are a byproduct, right? People, what was it? People, process, and profits.
No, people, performance, and profit. Let me pull it up really quickly, just so I'm
Okay, cool.
pretty sure it's that. You can keep going.
People, performance, and profits, right? So profits are a byproduct. It's a scoreboard, right? You like I'm not big into sports. I don't make a lot of fans by saying that, but I'm not big into sports, but I get it, sports. Like I understand it. But you don't just go out there and like, we're going to score a point. That's stupid. You go out there and go, we're going to execute this play as well as possible. We're going to coordinate the players on the team. They all understand the mission. We understand what we're driving for, the culture of how we play together, and those things executed well create points. Points go on the scoreboard, and that's revenues, that's profits. That's a byproduct of what you did well in the phase prior, right? And so culture is a huge part of sales that people miss, because your mission informs your culture, right? You've heard me say this like a broken record. Like, understand what it is you do. What is your mission? And then people say, well, we just want to make people's businesses better. That's not a mission. That's not clear. Like, you don't. That's just a coin toss of a black and white. Like, I want to make people's businesses worse. Oh, now I know that you're not like this business. You're like that business. Like, that doesn't. Nobody actually goes out there and says that. I want to make people's businesses worse. So saying I make people's businesses better, okay, that's 50% of an understanding. Like, you still have 50% better than I want to ruin your business. So understanding what you're driving for is your mission. Your mission completely informs the what I do, the why I do it, the results I want to get, the change I want to make in the world, what I want to bring to this world. And you can make that deep, you can make that shallow, it doesn't matter. If you can look at it that way, as a living, breathing understanding of what change do I want to make in the world, right? Culture is your next step, because your mission informs your culture. Your culture, whether you're a solopreneur or you have a company of 50 people or 500 people, it doesn't matter. Your culture, well, it matters how you implement, but it doesn't matter core fundamentals. Your culture is what embodies the mission. You take the mission and it's intangible, you put it into something real, and that's the culture. The culture is how you treat each other. It's how you treat your clients. It's what the customer experience is going to look like beyond the tangible, beyond the processes, beyond what we're setting out for, the physical activations. It's what is the mindset? How are we going to adopt the mission? We're all willing to carry that mission forward. We are all willing to get on the same page and aim at the same target and carry this company and carry our clients and carry the initiative forward, right? That creates your culture. And your culture and your brand are the exact same thing. They're just two different sides of the same coin, right? Culture is internal, which you have to have that solid, and that conveys to your external, which that's when it delivers to the brand. And the problem is, so setting those things up in a way that's a linear flow so that people understand, like, it's not transactional, it's transformative. That's a little bit of piece of advice I would give you as far as messaging goes and how to craft this thing. Transactional is, I give you this, you give me that, have a good day, we're on our way, right? That's true in business, commerce, and otherwise, it doesn't matter, services. But transformative is, I take you from here, there is a process, and then you end up over here, right? And at the end of that, with profits, there is an exchange of value. So that's, again, the scoreboard. So taking it from transactional to transformative in a service-based business that works with a lot of intangibles like his is really important. And that's a narrative that I would lean on very heavily. And you can do it super simple. Like, he's got a 3-tiered system. People, performance, and profits, right? So you start with the people. What does it look like to do that? How does that affect the performance? Is it the way that people perform? What does that look like? Explaining that, and then the end is profits, right? That's going to drive your revenues up. And so I take it in a story framework. Any book you read or any movie you watch, there is a beginning, there is the process in the middle, and then there's how it ended up, right? And you can take any movie and look at that and go, okay, it follows that basic framework. We started somewhere with something, with some players in the game, and then there was the process of figuring it out in the middle. And then the result was profits, right? If it's done well, because we all know if it's not done well, then you're still in chaos. And the result of that is lack of profits. Does that make sense? It's a little bit hard. Again, I don't have a lot of collateral to be able to answer the specifics. I want to dive into this really bad.
Me neither. To be honest, it's like, like I said, I had a 1 hour call during our power outage. So I was at a cafe, so I couldn't like 100% focus either. It's like just the worst of just the mixture. But no, it does make sense. Don't get me wrong. It's like I'm not so oblivious in this realm that I don't know it is what he wants or what he's trying to say. It's just most of our clients really just come to us knowing exactly who they are. Like, it's so rare for me to have to figure it out.
Mhm.
It's like they at least have some kind of something figured out. Like it's not a complete and total. Like the website alone usually conveys a lot. So
Yeah.
that's like the first piece. Like the first piece is just with the website missing or just there's just nothing for us to go off of except for these three vests and these
Mhm.
three things that I'm just like, okay, like I feel like I can't figure out completely who you are, but I can kind of run with it. But I do understand like the intangibility as well, because I understand it from a broad perspective, but the thing is this is a landing page. So it's like it
Got
also
to
has
get specific. Yeah, it's got to
it has
be
to say
a
a
good.
lot in a little, and the way to do that is if you know a lot.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think the best way to approach would be maybe a follow-up, because otherwise you're still guessing. You're like, I think I know who you are, but I'm guessing your favorite color, and I don't know you well enough to know your favorite color. So I'm going to say, blue. It's like, okay, you got a lot of colors on that spectrum. You got a one in however many chance of getting it right, and you might. I think the biggest thing I would say is if he can clarify exactly, like just in that box of those three pillars, because otherwise you could spend like a huge amount of time, but he could probably sum it up what he thinks it means in 15 minutes of what people, um, performance, and profits means, because he's broken that up into three tiers for a reason, right? And so if you're like, hey, just give me the bullet points, talk to me about people, talk to me about performance, talk to me about profits, then you can take that and explode that into, then you can take a lot more liberties, and you're going to create that likable, space. You're going to be able to expound on it versus, you're not going to nail it, and you can't. It's really something that lives in his head that needs to get out into documents and then into process. Again, I spend months on engagements with people doing literally this. So I'm like, how do I have you like
I was
take practically nothing and turn it into a landing page?
I was gonna say that because when you were talking, what was in my head was like, it's like me telling you, why don't you just go ahead and create a content calendar and then just like put all your assets, just edit everything, and you'll be fine. Like
I'm not gonna lie. When you started talking about all that earlier, I was like, nope. My ADHD mind is going, no. This is not what we do.
yeah, it sounds so simple. You know, when you do something and you're so good at it, you think what you're saying is so simple that you're just like, yeah, like just do that. And I'm over here like, does he know how much work that takes? Like, I was like,
Tons. Yeah. It's the curse of knowledge, which is ironically, this is what you're bumping up against with Steven. He knows exactly what he does and how he does it and who he does it for and what the process looks like. And it's like, oh sure, yeah, I just work with people and performance and profits. It makes perfect sense to me. It's like, oh my gosh, man, that we got to get that out of your head, because you have what's called the curse of knowledge. You understand it so well that you assume everybody else does.
yeah.
Have we talked about this?
I mean, we've talked about it in some ways, but not I think in 100% depth. But I think that's why I wanted to give you that question because I think you were also gonna have a fun time with it.
Mm,
Whether or not like I got an answer out of it, I'm really just gonna keep it simple for him, and I'm gonna do what you said, which is I'm just gonna run these by him. It's just I usually don't run anything by client unless I'm happy with it, but I don't know
mm,
if I'll ever get to be really happy with it because I don't know him. That's the thing. I'm so good at getting to know people, but they have
yeah.
to know themselves. I can't know someone if they don't know who they are. But I'm
You
very good
actually
at just
just hit a huge, huge piece in business that again I'm running into on a daily and weekly, and I'm actually creating something to address this very thing. Because if you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going, right? And so you don't know what you're running to. And to speak in more philosophy, I literally tell my clients, because they're like, well, I don't want to lose money on this venture. Well, I don't want to convey the wrong thing. Well, I don't want to set ourselves up in the wrong position, right? That's all negative space. And so I'm like, okay, so here's what you're doing. You're running from something and not to something. When you run from something, you're just avoiding. Like, it's just lack of consequences. I want to get away from it. I said, you're lost. You have no idea where you are, right? You're just running from it. And as long as you can put enough distance from it, you think you've accomplished something. But the truth is, you don't know where the heck you are. You're lost in the woods, right? If you're running to something, all of the things that you're afraid of and don't want, those are just a byproduct that's going to get taken care of, right? If you're running to something, like, there's always burn to learn moments where it's like, ouch, that hurt. I really got burned doing that. But you have a goal, you have a direction, you have a point on the map, and you can use your compass to be like, okay, we're at least heading in the right direction. We might have to go around it, we might have to go this way, but we know what we're aiming for. And so because we know what we're aiming for, we have to get really clear on what we're doing and why we're doing it and how we're going to get there. And when you can start putting those pieces in and perspective in, then you don't run into the curse of knowledge as much, because you could be really, really good at what you do as a vocation. I call it your craft in your business, and still not have a clue what you're aiming for.
Yeah.
Because people think that their craft is their business, and it's not. Your business is a structure and an entity all its own. You put your craft, which I call the spark or the fuel, inside your business, and that's what helps it go. But if you don't have clarity beyond this, just what resonates with you, you don't have a direction. Because even if you put it in that vehicle, it's like, okay, now where are we driving this thing? We put gas in the tank. Where are we going? Well, we don't know. We're just going to drive around for a while. Well, you're going to run out of gas. You're just not going to, like, you're going to burn out. Oh my gosh, I could go off on a long time on this topic. So he's got the curse of knowledge. So he needs to break down those 3 pillars very simply. Just be like, tell me what your process looks like, because
There's no, like, I've
right.
talked to him. He will not be able to break that down very simply. I do know, like, he talked to me about a lot of things, and that's really the problem. When you create a banner, it's knowing everything about this person and being able to break that down into one singular messaging. And that's always the problem with people who don't have the direction, who don't know where they're going, is it can't be broken down to one singular thing, because they're like, oh, we can take this route and this route and this route and this route. In terms of messaging, it's like, yes, like, even for us, before we did our branding, right? Like, I was like, oh, well, I only serve people who change, like, the world in their own ways. So we went with, what do you call, like, nonprofits and stuff, where it's like change makers, yeah, something like that. So that was like
Change makers and impact organizations, things like that.
Exactly. So that was like the first wording, but I'm like, no, we only have one nonprofit. Like, we don't serve, all of our clients are for profits, basically. So it's like, no, like, that's not the correct wording. So it's like, then you go in this next avenue, and then you go into this next avenue, and you go into this next avenue. And so it's like, I know what I do, but I kind of know who I do it for, but I didn't know exactly the direction of the messaging that I wanted to be able to get to where I was going. And so I think that's the problem with most business owners who don't have, kind of like what you say, it's like, if you don't know where you're going, right? Like, I think that's the problem. It's like the direction. It's like you could go in so many ways that if you don't really hone in on just one thing and you go all in on that, even if you are all these other things, then your messaging falls apart. And the thing with a LinkedIn banner is that you have to be very clear on one thing, and you have to be very sure of what that one thing is. We do this for this. That's it. This is exactly how we do it, right? So it's like, and I think that's been the problem with this. It's like, he knows who he is. He improves all of these things. And I feel like it's all here. It's all in his head. Like, it's nowhere near to be found where I can read it, I can listen to it, I can boil it down a little bit better. It's like I have an hour of a recording with this person, and by the time I finished the recording, I was like, what did I get into? I love, like I said, I love Everybody Knows the End, but I was just like, oh my gosh, like, this is not our wheelhouse. He should just be able to tell me, hey, this is what I stand for, this is our main tagline, this is how we do it, go work your magic. Not, here's everything that we stand for, consolidate, figure it out. I'm like, my gosh, this is like Brady's realm. This is so not mine. Like, Brady's supposed to tell me what I'm supposed to put on there, not. Now, I would like to, if you have something else you want to say to that, you can, but I do want to switch it to you, because I do want to do your banner.
Okay.
So like I said, I want to give.
So now I'm in a hot seat right now because we're talking about dysfunctional LinkedIn banners. Let's do it.
Sorry, I mean, like, if my playerism, I don't know if you've changed it or not.
No, I haven't done anything. In fact, I was looking at my LinkedIn today because I was like, I really got to change this stuff. Because like I said, I'm getting ready to launch a new initiative,
Yeah,
and which I want to touch base with you on that too. And I'm like,
pretty.
wow, nothing about my LinkedIn really supports that at
Yeah,
all. And it's ironic because that's like I'm helping people with all of the topics we're actually discussing, and I'm creating a very concentrated environment for people to do that in, create awareness, understanding, and direction, and who they are, what they're doing, and what they're trying to accomplish. And I'm looking at this going, I have not positioned myself in an authority over that whatsoever, according to my LinkedIn. My clients get it, they know it. Like I'm in like the trap that Steven's fallen into. I do this for people for a living, like literally, and I'm in that trap.
yeah.
I help people out of that. I guide them to their, understanding their waypoint, and then we work on the whatever we need to implement to get them there. It's literally solely what I do for a living. And I'm sitting here like, wow, my LinkedIn does not speak to that authority whatsoever, like at all.
No, it does not. And that's why I wanted to offer it to you. So you were definitely, Stephen kind of just jumped out of my mouth because we were in the SEN, like whenever they did the mini groups, I was with Stephen. And so I was just like, yeah, and then this and then that and that. And then suddenly I was just like, yeah, sure, like let's do yours. And I was like, I had no idea what I was getting into when I said that. But I had already targeted Michael because I knew he was going to be easy. And I had already targeted you because we've been working together. And because I know you wouldn't necessarily just tell me, oh, like here, figure out my branding. Like you're
Fix my stuff for me, Clarisse.
but I can whatever you're doing for yourself, for your clients, for you, I can then take that to what we do. But I know you're not just gonna be like, I don't know who I am, and here you go. And
I'm lost. Fix it. No, what it actually is I am so cliche that I'm like that joke that the roofer's roof leaks or the cobbler's kids run around without shoes. I'm helping other people figure out their messaging and their positioning and targeting themselves. And I'm over here like, wow, I need a me for me. My stuff looks terrible. My messaging, there's no continuity to it. I keep, playing with stuff like, no, maybe this hits because what's ironic too is everything you've described, there's not really a term and a name for it, at least not even that I've found. And believe me, I've searched. It is what I do. It's literally what I make a living doing. But there's not really a term for, oh yeah, we just create clarity around what you are trying to accomplish in your business. That is essentially what I do. But that doesn't exist in anybody's, like, that's not a pre-existing bucket. That's not a box that anybody can check. Yeah, so that's actually essentially what I'm creating as a space that people will be able to understand that and fit into that bucket, because if it's not out there, then I decided I got to build it. And that brings me to the point, which actually intersects perfectly with your point. LinkedIn conveys none of that.
no, it does not. That's why I was like, even if we post for you, like even if we like put the structure in for you, I don't want you telling people that it's us
I
until
don't want you telling people I
your
work for
profile
you.
is fixed. Because there is no social media person in the world who does this for a living that will let anything look like that and say like, look. Like,
What's the worst part on it? Just like for the sake of hot seat, what's the worst part that where you're like, this causes so much confusion?
okay, let me pull it up so that I think this does a split screen as well whenever I do it.
Is it my tagline, the whole strategy meets business therapy?
It's honestly I mean, this is like, look at this as your website, right? Like this is the hero page of your website. So basically, it's like, what are you trying to tell people? Absolutely nothing except for your profile picture. It shows that you travel. It shows that you can take good pictures.
I did take that actually. That was me.
Nice. But yeah, like it doesn't showcase anything. So I'm just gonna tell you what I'm gonna change. I mean, for the SEM thing, it's gonna be the LinkedIn banner. I just want to show people like before and afters. It's like you shouldn't do this, you should do this. Right? That's what I want to show people. That's why I handpicked you guys. Because that's really the 3-minute educational story. It's like this to this. That's it. And why. So we're gonna change your LinkedIn banner. We're gonna change your headline. This one you are gonna have to do. And also like, I was like, yeah, like, I don't know if I don't know if I said that I was gonna fix his headline as well. I really don't know what I was saying. At this point, I was just saying things. I was like, what are you doing? Like, he doesn't have anything to go out of to fix his headline. What are you talking about? Because usually we can do it, but like usually people have like Substack, or they have a website, or they have a YouTube channel, or just something that I can look at, so I know what they're at. Like, it's like you have an hour of recording. I don't know if you can really fix everything with that, but we'll fix this. But you will be the one fixing this. I'm just gonna tell you. Basically, I'm just gonna give you guidelines, which is basically like just the first part of it, because that's what people see. That's gonna be the strongest part.
Okay.
That's where your strongest part is going to go. We're going to change this to where people can follow you. Right now, people can only message you. They can't follow, and you're still only on connections. It should be connections and followers. Your about page should be fine. If you want to redo it, I would say maybe redo it a little bit. It looks a little all over the place, but at least it's there, and this is probably your best part. And then we're going to add a featured section as well that just links to your website, links to everything. And then obviously we're going to post for you. We're going to make sure that you post for yourself. So we're going to create a content calendar and everything, which you will be helping with, because that's a lot of work. And then this one, you're also going to create a business page, because you don't have one currently. So, and the business page will just go into the top part right here, so that it shows up here. And also because you have the LinkedIn Premium, which you are completely wasting. You are wasting $100 a month right now. Like, because you're not even using any of the features. Because you have that, we'll also add the like contact info here. So if you want them to book a call with you, it's just any call to action that you want them to do, which can lead to any page that you want to lead to your website. It could lead to a landing page. It could lead to a booking a call, whatever you want it to lead to. And you can change the CTA as well, so that you can make it stronger. And then that's gonna be the main parts. It's good that you have the recommendations. So yeah, but those are the biggest ones.
No, that's awesome. And I actually should have asked you sooner. Actually, I should have just Googled it, because I saw that a lot of people have followers and connections. And I was like, why am I not getting it? And it says I have followers, but apparently there's no option to follow me. So I don't know how people are getting to that. Yeah, not that I want to just create a giant following, but I really do. Like, who doesn't, right? Let's make it more effective.
Yeah. And also it looks good. Like it is a LinkedIn feature. And they did change it. They changed a lot of things in LinkedIn, because they're moving things to the premium section. So it's good that you have the premium, because you have access to everything. Even the thing that Alex asked last time, I was gonna send a Loom video, and I actually just realized that the platform changed it to a premium only. And the only way that you're gonna have the feature that I said to do is either if you were already doing it before it became a free, so before it became a premium feature. So basically they grandfathered everybody that did it when it was free, or you have to become a premium subscription. Otherwise you can't get it anymore.
Wild. Okay. I learned a lot actually just now. I also did not realize I was spending $100 a month on my LinkedIn. So that was something that I had apparently subscribed to a long time ago and haven't bothered to revisit and check.
That should be a conversation all on its own as a business owner. Like, recheck all of your subscriptions. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if they grandfathered the pricing. If you've signed up for a long time ago, I think it was cheaper before, but now it's $99 a month. So I don't recommend it unless you have a very specific use case for it.
No, I'm going to be unless you're like, no, you need this for these features and what you're wanting to build, which I'll get into that. Maybe you and I can do a one-on-one on that. But like, no, I don't want to spend $1,200 a year on LinkedIn. Forget that. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
so
other things I'd rather spend that on. Jeez.
you may want to check your subscription. Like I said, they may have grandfathered you into the pricing, but
I hope so.
either
Like
way,
we'll be making some changes quick.
yeah. I don't think you need it. You really only need it if you're wanting to DM people, or if you're wanting to do whatever else. But yeah, like I I don't have LinkedIn Premium, and honestly, most of my clients don't. So
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I think I did it a long time ago actually, because I was wanting to DM people.
Yeah.
And yeah,
That's the biggest use case for it, is the DMs. Like if you want to do a cold outreach, but the thing is our clients mostly run ads, so they don't necessarily, because you have Sales Navigator and you have LinkedIn Premium. So you can also do it that way, but they're both quite expensive, to be honest. And it really is more for both outreach, whereas like what we do is more inbound. So they run ads, and then any organic that we create, we do inbound.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. But I do want to ask, send me all of your assets. So we talked about send me all of your pictures, right? But also, because pictures really work on LinkedIn, and I think it's a good way for you to be recognized more. Especially with SCN members, they're very active on LinkedIn. So if you see your face, they're more likely to comment on it or something like that. The second thing is send me all of your assets in terms of your business, your logo, your whatever, hex colors if you have it, any brand guideline that you have. I don't know if you have one or not. But
Of course, Clarisse, because that's what I help people. No, I don't have that. I did. I had a lot more collateral on one of my old systems. I need to basically scrape it back together. I was looking at some of that because, like I said, I'm working on a new initiative. It's really just a variation of what I already do, but I'm creating a more targeted space for it. And I was like, I actually really need to collect some stuff together and do a little bit of a rebrand myself on everything. And so it's a perfect time to do that.
yeah, and then send me what you want to go on it. Do not make me guess. Like, send me the wording that you want.
Do not make me guess. It's a very common problem. People don't know who they are beyond, like, they say, not to pick on Steven, because I actually run into this a lot, but they say 3 things and they're like, that's what I do. That doesn't tell people what you do. That's a cool tagline, but it's not, unless you have an about me section that you can expand those 3 like those 3 pillars, it does not tell people what you do. And so people need to be able to get that clarity, get that understanding, get that focus of the culture they have, the mission they're driving for, and the brand promise that they are creating or have created. They just need to be able to articulate that, because your brand promise is, this is how it's going to feel, this is what it's going to look like to interact with me, these are the transformative results that you're going to get. That's your brand. Like, that's everything to do with your brand, and people don't understand that. So I don't necessarily create people's brands for them. I help them understand better the brand that they are trying to create. And then they can go to somebody who executes and say, this is everything I'm trying to communicate. This is the ethos that I exist in.
Yeah.
Make this tangible for me, right? So I take the intangible and I package it up and I say, now you take this to somebody who can create it and is going to nail it down, and I'll work with them on colors and tones and fonts and weights, and if they need that. I don't design that. I used to design that years and years ago, again back when MySpace was still alive. I don't offer that as a service at all now, just because I'm not really relevant anymore, but I do understand. You what?
Because MySpace died.
Because MySpace died, and so I felt like all of the creativity in the world died with it.
But yeah, send me those things, and then actually one fun thing that we can do, because I also want to do a hot seat with you, which obviously it's a bit backwards, because obviously we're going to do a hot seat with you. So we're going to I don't know how I want to do it yet, because obviously we're going to do everything on the back end, but just maybe talk about it like in one of the videos would be really cool. But one of the things that you could do for me as a hot seat, or at least that I'm thinking of, because we have our branding and everything, is maybe you can also, because the hardest part for us is figuring out like our own, like even my banner, I just went with whatever crossed my mind, like, you know what I mean? So it's like maybe you can audit and see if we're really conveying what it is that I'm actually trying to convey, or if we're like straying away from that. Because that's the reason why I've always been so much better with our clients, is because they already know who they are. Like, they really are so strongly rooted in who they are that it's so easy for me to do them. And for the longest time, you talked about the cobbler without the shoes kind of thing. But for the longest time, we were like that. If you look at my LinkedIn page, there'd be gaps. Like, there are gaps and gaps and gaps. And even if you looked at our company page, it only started 3 months ago, or like 2 months ago, I think. Like, it's so new. Like, for the longest time, we ran company pages, but for 3 years, we did not run our company. It didn't even exist. Everything that I'm telling you, we're like, oh, we need to create the company. I didn't have that. Like, so it's like, We did the same thing, like, because yeah, we got clients and it was fine and it was working, and but I said, this is the year that I'm like, no, like, we are gonna do what we say we're doing for other people, and people are gonna see what it's like with our brand. So I got stronger on that, but that's something I think that, like, a hot seat that we can do is like, am I really saying what I think I'm saying? Not because we're not good at our jobs, but is it because am I clear from, is the route clear? Like, is the route,
Mhm.
like, of like our messaging clear, that I'm actually projecting that out into what we're doing, or am I still lost? And I'm just producing content, right? Because it's really hard to produce content for people that are lost. It's really hard for any company, for any page, for any social media, anything. If you're lost, it's really hard to produce content. So
Oh,
that
yeah.
could be something that's it for us. I think I have a better direction. I just want to make sure I'm heading in the right direction. So yeah, I think I don't know, let me know your thoughts on that.
No, I love it. I love it. We could totally do an audit on that and see if your messaging aligns and it stays clear. I'm actually looking at your page right now. I'm taking a look at that.
Don't look at it
Um,
right now. Like, I'm still figuring it out. Like, that would be like for a later conference. Figure yours out first. Don't work at yourself.
right.
Like, don't look at mine. Like, look at yours.
Look at yours first. Yours is the worst. So look at yours first. No, that's true though. I had somebody, they were like, yeah, can you take a look at my website and just do a quick audit on that and just see if it aligns. He's like, don't even spend an hour on it. I was like, yeah, man, it's just a colleague that I really enjoy. He and I are friends too. So I'm like, hey, you know what? No problem. I'll take a look and do an audit for you. Um, yeah, but the thought always comes to mind too. I'm like, just don't look at my website. Just
Same.
don't look at my website.
I mean, I'm fixing it. We are constantly posting, even on mine. Like, it's starting to kind of have a lot more life to it. But just because I'm still really figuring out who we are, that's why I hated posting. Every time I posted, I'm like, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's like, I just never liked it. I was like, I don't want to post if I hate it. So it's like, and it's because we could never figure out who we were. But do focus on yours first, because my talk is on December 10th. So
Oh,
I
okay.
need to finish the banner probably the weekend, the week prior. So if you can send me all the assets by next Monday at the latest, if you can send it this week, that would be fantastic. But I know it's a holiday week, so I don't even know if you guys celebrate it because you're in Argentina. But
Yeah, I'm not doing anything down here.
yeah, so if you want to send it this week, if you're not doing the holidays, then feel free. But if not, by Monday at the latest, next week would be great. But it's just everything, all your pictures, logos. Pictures should be a lot. That drive should be pretty packed of just good pictures of you. You can also ask your wife to take a picture of you as well, like, if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I realize because I don't like every time I go through my phone, I'm like, yeah, I got pictures. I'm like, none of these are of me. I'm holding the phone, taking pictures out, and they're not of me. So I'll have to go through her camera roll and see what she's got.
Yeah, yeah. So whatever works, because that really works on LinkedIn. If you see there's so many people who post pictures of themselves, those work really well, to be really honest. Especially if you're traveling, because people also just want to see like pictures of your travels. They comment on that sometimes. Um, and then logos, colors, whatever, and then the wording that you want on the banner.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I can do that. So would it help if I gave kind of an initiative target as to what I'm aiming for? Um,
As
as
far as,
as to not Steven this, but to bring it in collectively. Like, obviously I'm going to write the content, but are you looking for a direction and like who it's going to hit, how it's going to hit, where I want it to hit? Is that what you're looking for? Is high points on those things?
if you'd like, usually with our clients, they really just know. It's usually on their website already. So it's like with one of our clients, it's like we put over 3,000 plus people served because the numbers mattered to them, right? And then the other one is more like, we help this do this because their service is so narrow.
Hmm.
Like, there's not a lot of people that offer it,
Hmm.
that going that route was the best route, right? But they already know that. We didn't come up with that for them. Like,
Yeah.
they know what they wanted on there. We just made it out there. Like, we just basically put it out there. So you can give us a direction for it. but I would prefer that you give us, and you can give us like several different ones. If you don't know your own tagline, like if you're still figuring out your tagline, you can give us several different ones and we can come up with a different mock variations for each, or like mix and match them if it makes more sense in the landing page banner. But I guess just not from a starting point of like Steven, where I really am super a bit lost with what I want to do with him. And the thing is, I did look at your website. You're right. Like the wording on it, I don't think says who you are. Like I'm not a website expert, so take this with a
No,
grain
it
of salt.
doesn't. In fact, I was actually looking through that today too, because I was like, all right, we're due for a revamp. There's a lot of stuff that I'm just going to slash and cut from my website altogether. Like the accounting and financial perspective side. Yeah, we work on that, but I don't need to actually advertise that. There's a lot on there that I'm actually going to be cutting and retargeting because, like I said, I'm going to go through a little bit of a rebrand to make it clearer for what I'm doing. And essentially, it's collecting all of the Stevens in the world, putting them in one group, and then helping them answer these questions and get them all fixed up and packaged up and ready to send on to the next professional that they need to work with, such as yourself. So that's actually the positioning I'm going to put myself in. It's a business owner who's been doing what they do. It's not that they don't necessarily have lack of stuff. It's they're trying to achieve something specific, and there's probably a lot of foundational pieces that just never got built because they didn't have an awareness that it needed to get built, and so they were lost, right? Didn't know they were lost. Now they do. Let's fix that. That's what I'm building. And so I'm actually building out an entire platform to plug business owners into um, in a collective. I don't want to call it a mastermind. It's kind of like a mastermind, but that's so done. Like everybody's like, oh, mastermind. I'm like, nah. It's not Lamborghini stuff, but it is people being able to collaborate and gain clarity and understand what they're trying to accomplish, the what, why, and how, what they're trying to do. And I'm setting it up into very small group cohorts because you can't do it with 100 people in a group and have it be effective. It's just not going to happen. So that's what I'm targeting. That's actually going to be the main product, so to speak, that I'm going to be pushing to be able to get people that are in Steven's position because they directly connect and create pain points for people that are in your position.
Yeah.
And so if we can get, if we got Steven's problems solved, I'm just using him as an architect. If we got him solved sooner, then when he came to you and said, oh yeah, I need that fixed on my LinkedIn. I need my landing page fixed.
Yeah.
This is what I do. You're like, cool, done. Executing is what we do. But he's not asking you to execute. He's asking you to help solve for X. And you don't know what X is. You're doing business algebra right now.
I know.
Yeah. So I hope people solve for X.
I think he thinks I do it too. So I'm like, oh gosh, I don't. And I'm going to tell him, it's like, hey, like I don't usually do messaging. So let me know if there's something you want changed, but here it is. And you tell me and you're probably going to hate it because I'm really going off of nothing here. So yeah, because we can't fully go off of your website, it would just be good for us to have just some kind of something.
Mm-hmm.
Yours was also, I really thought about whether I wanted to ask you. I really wanted to do Michael just because he did have the words already on his LinkedIn, and you can look at Michael as Michael Stewart of what he has on there. I don't know if I was gonna take every single thing he had, but at least I know exactly like what he cares about. That's why even like the 3 Ps for Steven was super important for me because I at least knew the direction he was going and what he wants. And that helps us a lot. I can work with a little bit still. It's just, yeah, it's a lot harder. So if the more you can give us, but condensed, it's not like Steven gave me an hour of conversation, but I can't do anything with that. I still don't know what he does condensed. If you can give me a lot condensed to where you're saying it's this, it can be options, but it's these, then that's good. But if don't give me everything, and you can give me one as well, that's fine. If you have one specific thing that you're like, this is it, then that's great as well. But basically what you would give to your clients, like if you were sending your client to me and I said, hey, like, this is what I'm going to put on the banner because I saw it on their website, you're going to say, yeah, that's great because that's their main tagline. That's their messaging. That's their tone of voice. That's who they are. Great. That's fantastic. So that's what I want you to send to me. So it is a big homework for you because you're having to figure out your own brand. But let me know because I do have a hard stop. I've just been I don't know how, but just Mondays, just been in meetings all day. Do you want to do it next week around the same time?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
Absolutely.
any topic ideas. We kind of didn't go off of like what we said we were gonna do today. I did like it though. But what are you thinking? Just so I can label it a little bit.
Yeah, topic idea. Let me pull up the sheet.
Sorry.
Oh, I was going to pull up our topic sheet
Oh, okay. It's
real
like,
quick.
yeah. I'm just
Did you have any topic thoughts? What's a burning question that you, because we kind of did do the whole, well, we didn't do, but we were going to do the whole unanswerable questions that people have.
we did not do that. We
We
just kind of
we
asked
really
each
did
other like,
not do that. We kind of talked about like literal case studies and real world scenarios that we're currently working on or stumbling on. But hey, that's fun. Identity and who you are and how that affects what you do.
that one. Sorry,
Let's see. I just
I
want
don't
to.
have
You
to
got a
pull
hard
that.
stop at your, what is it? Your 1:30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's why I asked to move it actually a little bit higher because I had this meeting already set up.
Yeah. Gotcha. No problem. I don't know. Is there anything you want to like talk to me, Clarisse? What do you want to ask?
I don't have the sheet in front of me. If you want, we can just do the hot seat for you because by then you would have. Do you think you'd have your assets over to me by Monday?
Yeah, I can do that.
I
We can
mean,
do a
before
hot
Monday,
seat
sorry, before Monday.
before Monday. Yeah.
We can do it.
What if we did? Okay, so it's kind of like a hot seat, but it's almost like a how would you, or like a stump the expert kind of situation. Not calling
Mm,
myself the expert, but do you want to put me in that like a rapid fire Q&A? Do you want to do that? Would that be helpful, or would you find that interesting? And you can tell me no.
in terms of which one?
Just in terms of like if you had questions on the other side of things, like the like problems you run into that you don't handle, or the pre because you're kind of like post polished, right? And then
Yeah,
you create it and send it out there with the whole. I'm thinking of the upstream or the rabbit hole that I tend to be in, that people fall down, or that you fell down with Stephen. Is there more on that topic that would be good for like some clarity pieces, or to send out to people so that they have a clue as to, because I'm trying to create awareness around that people actually, that this is a problem,
yeah,
that they're not doing themselves any favors, they're not doing professionals such as yourself any favors, and they're not getting the most out of their marketing, and they're not getting the most out of their marketing budget, or things in your space, because they're not fixing things on the back end and they don't have clarity on what to do with that and how to do it. So I'm kind of on a little bit of a vague mission to bring awareness to that,
yeah.
because on the one hand it's what I do, but on the other hand it would help you do what you do so much smoother. Because you were talking about turning away clients, you're like, if they don't have this, I don't work with them. I was like, oh, that's super interesting.
That's true.
um,
I think we can mix that with so it's that and a Brady hot seat for your social pages. So I'm gonna put you on your own hot seat, like as far as like but send me everything, send me everything that you have.
yeah.
But yeah, like I'm gonna question you on like maybe your website. I think I'm gonna put you in the hot seat, like as far as like you are the cobbler without the shoe kind of thing, right? So
Mhm.
it's like I kind of want to highlight that a little bit, and then it'll kind of show the transformation as well from our end
Mhm.
of like what the social media piece would look like for your LinkedIn. Because the thing is, I wanted to do a little bit of a hot seat for you for your LinkedIn page because I want to be able to start everything that we're trying to do for you as well. And I need that information. So I think we can kill two birds in one stone.
Got it. So you're working on an initiative on your end, and I'm a good guinea pig for that.
Kind
So
of, but also
something
like
happens.
a rapid fire like Q&A for like just what you said as well, which is just like, okay, like I don't know. Let's figure it out. But I think I understand what you're talking about. I
Yeah.
think I
So
yeah.
let's do your idea, like your half of the idea. Let's focus on that being the main thing. If the other integrates, great, but I'm not worried about it. We can do that another time for another reason. All right. I know
Okay,
you got to jump.
sounds good. I will have to jump, but I sent the thing and please send me everything this week and I'm super excited.
Sounds good. Awesome. All right, Clarisse. Well,
Yeah.
enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take
Okay,
care.
talk to you. Bye.